Hello and welcome everyone to episode 31. After the excitement of the previous episode, we'll once again take a little bit slower. But obviously, we want to keep getting those incredible results. A top 5 in a World Tour race sparks our need for even more. And where can we get more than that? It will be in the easier races, just like here in the Vuelta Asturias. Julio Alvarez Mendo, what a long name. 3 very hilly, mountainous stages, especially that first one, I think, is where the classification will already be made. That final hill will be very tricky, but all of them should end up in a bit of a sprint, especially that second stage, very flat, and the finish lines are always after the mountain area. So just survive the mountains, get towards that finish line, and sprint for success. That will be the goal. Next up, we have the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. 8 stages for us today, where I'm pretty confident that the general classification will once again be made on that 6th stage. Look at that mountain finish there at the end, much different from the previous one where the finish lines end up flat. This one ends up at the top of the mountain, so we'll need to bring some sprinters here to get some success in the other stages and try to survive the mountain on the 6th stage to get a good result in the general classification. Look at that last stage, some cobbles there as well, so a very exciting 8 stages here for us coming up quite soon. And last but certainly not least, it is the Lotto Famenne Ardennes Classic. Talking about classic races, we keep kind of getting them, this time again in Belgium, but very, very hilly, very mountainous. It will be tricky for our riders for sure, who need to survive that hilliness and that mountainous to end up finishing uphill. So a good result maybe here for our punchers. Now let's move on to that first stage of the Vuelta Asturias. Julio Alvarez Mendo. What a name here in this tour. A very difficult first stage with that mountain at the end. No breakaway that will make it. I'm confident already. We just need to survive that final mountain in this stage.
Hello to one and all. The strongest teams will certainly take hold of the race as soon as the road starts to rise so as to help their climbers.
A rainy day here today for us. Not the best statistics for either. I was hoping for some plus statistics here, especially because this race will be very, very tricky. As I said in the beginning, I don't think there will be much of a success for the breakaway here, so we'll just survive here in the peloton. We need to wait it out here with our riders until that final 20 kilometers around that area here with the team. As you can see, we have Jay Wonjun and Baptiste Grégoire, 2 of our main mountain riders here with us today, hoping that they can do a good result here in this very difficult Spanish tour. So we'll need to see if we can, or if we are able to do that. Sending out Diego Casanega here. Maybe he can do something. Again, he is still our rookie rider here, our rookie mountain rider with a lot of potential in those mountain stages, but not really the mountain rider as Jay Wonjun and Baptiste Grégoire are. And you see here, he is trying to get towards the breakaway, but the peloton is chasing after him quite rapidly. This downhill section, which is not his forte, is kind of eating away at the gap that he has on the peloton. So I don't think this will be a very successful jump here from him, which means that he will waste a ton of energy and not do well here in the final parts of this stage. And heading towards the final parts of this stage, you see here, we are at that final mountain part. Baptiste Grégoire is absolutely exhausted. There's still 5 kilometers to go. Jay Wonjun also out of energy. We are having so many issues here on this mountain. The rest of the team is so far behind. We did not input our energy very well. We did not manage our team's energy very well. And you see here in this little group of 15 that is riding away here from Jay Wonjun, a good classification here in this race is already gone here, with them just casually floating away here as if this mountain is absolutely nothing for them. Still 3 kilometers left towards that line, or towards that top of the mountain. Jay Wonjun struggling here in this race, trying to get towards the end. Now, in that descent, I catch you guys back up. The first riders have already finished, and we are trying to get towards that finish line, trying to give it our all, trying to basically sprint towards the line here. You see Jay Wonjun there as well, or Grégoire, Baptiste as well. Jay Wonjun sprinting towards the line here. Can he get a good result? I think a 16th is the best that he can do here in this race. Trying to sprint here as well, but Baptiste Grégoire trying to get as good of a classification here as possible with our riders. In the end, we'll have 2 riders here in the top 20, with Grégoire Baptiste ending up in 20th position. You see here, J1 June 5 minutes behind the number 1. An incredible result here from the Italian rider, actually, already finishing 4 minutes ahead of many of the other riders. J1 June, our best classified rider here, 5 minutes behind. Baptiste Gregoire almost 7 minutes behind. And I'm worried about where the remainder of our riders will be. They must be so much further behind here in the team. You see here, Joseph Turnbull, Diego Casaniga, all very much many minutes behind. Thankfully, no one finishing outside of the time limit, so that's good, I guess. But this is not very good for our general classification statistics. Once again, we only have 2 stages left. After this, we have a 4th place here in the Young Riders classification, and are really nowhere on the team classification. And with 2 stages after this, I don't know if we can make up 5 minutes or even 7 minutes here on the number 1 in this very difficult Vuelta, Asturias Julio Alvarez Mendo. Maybe this is a good preparation for if we would ever ride the Vuelta in the future. So maybe we should take this a little bit more seriously with that Vuelta prep. And focus on this second race here, which will definitely end up in a mass sprint with that very flat section towards the end. We just need to survive those hills in between.
The route is fairly hilly, so there should be plenty of action. It is under a bright sun that today's race will be run.
Bright sun, but the statistics are not very bright once again in this very tricky stage. A lot of hills here in between. You see me sending out J1 June, hoping for him to get some bonus seconds and maybe some mountain points. We're not really here for the mountain classification, but some bonus seconds would be great for him. He is 5 minutes behind the number 1, so not too much chance for him to really move up too far in the general classification. But once again, any bonus seconds will help our Korean rider here in this very tricky stage. So I'm sending him out, and in the meantime we'll protect Baptiste Gregoire and our other riders as well, to hopefully do a good sprint towards the end. You see us here now towards that first mountain point. I do a little sprint here with J1 June, and he gets across the line here as first. Mountain points here for our Korean rider. The cooperation within the group is not great. You see 2 other riders coming there from the back, and he wants them to join. Well, I would like to stay away here and not have too much competition for those in-between seconds. Here onto that second mountain point now, sprinting once again with J1 June towards that finish line, hoping for him to get across the line once again as first, but this time his energy runs out just before the finish line and he gets passed by these other riders. No additional mountain points here for J1 June, who's currently in 9th position in that mountain classification. Onto that first in-between sprint. You see me sprinting here for the marbles, for those bonus seconds, and he does a great sprint here towards the line. 3 additional bonus seconds here for J1 June. 6 minutes on the peloton, so not too much chance for them to make it all the way towards the end, to be honest. But he will make it all the way towards that second in-between sprint point. As you can see here, 1 kilometer left to go. I still have a bunch of energy left. Sprinting here very, very late to try and surprise the other riders, but the Spanish rider here is just a little bit faster than J1 June, and he gets across the line here as second, just behind that Spanish rider. That means that is it for us. 5 additional bonus seconds here for us in this race. Once again, trying to get some mountain points here, as you can see, trying to stick here with the group. The other riders are just a bit better here in the mountains today, jumping away from J1 June. And honestly, I don't want to spend too much more energy here in this very difficult mountain section, so I will just relax here with J1 June with these riders. You see the gap slowly but surely decreasing here as well. Once again onto that second mountain point, or the 4th mountain point now I should say. The energy of J1 June is becoming less and less, where he's just trying to stick with this group, not doing too much effort, but just trying to stick here with this group. And that means that the rest of the riders are also losing a lot of energy. Here now towards the final parts of this race, you see J1 June here with no energy left. He tried to be in the breakaway for a little bit, but in the end obviously got caught. 6 kilometers left though, hoping that he can survive those last 6 kilometers and make sure that he does not waste those carefully gotten bonus seconds here in the second stage of the Vuelta, something very long name, this Spanish race. 4 kilometers left now, trying to lead out our riders as well as possible, but it's very tricky. We are getting stuck in with the rest of these riders. They are kind of blocking our path. We don't want to go too early though, but we are losing a lot of energy here, trying to sprint a little bit for Baptiste Gregoire to try and pull apart the peloton. I do that a little bit too well, as most of our riders actually get blocked by some of these other riders, and that means we get into position way too late. We don't do a perfect sprint here towards the end. A poor race here by us in this second stage, not looking super strong here. Jae-won Joon also 1 minute behind the peloton at the moment, losing all those carefully gotten bonus seconds that he got earlier. So a poor race here for us in this second stage of the Vuelta. A serious Julio Alvarez Mendo race. Not really the result that we wanted here today. Not really the sprint result that we wanted either, and I don't think it will do well here for our general classification. Yeah, you can see here Jae-won Joon moving down 4 positions, losing all those bonus seconds and losing even more now, 7 minutes behind the number 1. Baptiste Grégoire at least moving up 2 places, so that's good for his general classification, but not super good for the rest of our team here in this very tricky mountain and hilly stages. A very difficult race for us, especially if this would be the preparation for the Vuelta. We would be in very poor form here, I should say, in this stage, or in the Vuelta, in the actual Vuelta, with an 18th place. To be honest, an 18th place in the Vuelta in general classification, pretty sure I would take it, but I think we would want to do a little bit better here. 7 minutes behind the number 1 after 2 stages is not great. So let's see if we can improve our performance here in this third stage. Once again, a little bit hilly towards the end, a little bit mountainous, but it flattens out and seems like a downhill finish. If we position properly, it should turn out to be a good result here for us in this final stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race.
And we are boxed in here in the peloton. No real chance for us to get away here too badly. You see the statistics on our riders once again not super great. Jae-won Joon with a -2, Baptiste Grégoire at least with a +1. So I'm hoping for him to survive those mountains at the end rather easily. We just stick him here in the peloton, hoping for him to survive. Again, I don't think the breakaway will make it very far here in today's stage, so I want to stick in the peloton. I could have sent someone out for those bonus seconds, but maybe something similar to what happened with Jae-won Joon would happen once again. So I don't want to risk that here in this third and final stage. And you're joining us now here on this mountain just before the end of the third race here, where we are pushing upwards here on this mountain to try and break apart as much of the peloton as possible. You see a lot of our riders very much struggling here in this race. All we need to do is try and get towards the top. Other riders are attacking on this mountain. This seems to be the mountain to attack on. It's just very difficult here for many of our other riders. You see Van Strijtem as well, so far in the back of this peloton, having so many issues to try and move up here in this race. We are just trying to make sure that we even make it to the top of this mountain. Still 1 kilometer to go here according to this sign, but it flattens out considerably here in this race, and the top of the mountain is right there. As you see, the peloton splits even further, but I'm sure it will get together once we reach that downhill section here of this mountain. You see us trying to form at least a little bit of a group here to get ready for that final sprint, for that little mountain area just before the final sprint, I should say, as we are trying to group up here once again. 20 riders in that front area of the peloton, trying to make sure that we stick together here, trying to make sure that we survive. Jae-won Joon once again caught out here at the back of the peloton. No real chance for him to catch back up. We have 20 riders remaining here with a 30-second gap towards the other groups, so we want to make sure that we can push on here in this race. The yellow jersey, or the blue jersey actually in this race, in this group sadly, so not much chance to gain on him here, but we can gain on maybe other riders that are in that top 10 position. So I want to keep pushing on here with our riders. 1 kilometer remaining. I tried to sprint with everyone that we have here in this race, use up all the energy that we have. Baptiste Grégoire looking fantastic here, but gets passed near the line at the end, so a lot of riders passing him here. A 5th place for Baptiste Grégoire. Joseph Turnbull also in 8th, so not too bad for our riders, but we wished we would have done a little bit better here. We wished we would have extended our lead a little bit more and pushed a little bit harder, maybe break apart the blue jersey that was in our group, but he held on here towards the end and passed our French rider at the finish line, meaning no top 3 here for Baptiste Grégoire. a little bit behind. You see here this Italian rider who's doing incredible, honestly, within this race. It does move him up 2 places here, 7 minutes now behind the number 1, so no gains on the number 1, but gained some positions at least here in this race. Securing his top 20 position even more. The rest of our riders also moving up a couple of positions, but nothing really great here. Jaewon Jun also moving down a couple, so not really good here for our general classification. Not really the result that we wanted. Once again, we wanted to get some additional UCI points. We wanted to get some better results, and becoming 8th in the team classification is not really the aim. Becoming 16th in the general classification, not really the aim. 7 minutes behind the number 1, a huge difference here in the general classification. Now let's move on to the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. A 2-point pro race, definitely one where we can gain a lot of UCI points, one for the sprinters, except for that 6th stage, which ends up in a big mountain. So I'm hoping that our sprinters will do well on the flat stages and our mountain riders will make a difference there.
Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The weather conditions are excellent.
There we go. This very flat stage here. The statistics looking pretty good here, except for victories, who I'm hoping to do well here in the sprints. You see here, I brought Owen Cole as well for those mountain sections, hoping that he will do well there in that area. My bet is on him for a good general classification here in this tour. In the meantime, we'll want him, or we want our sprinters to do well in those flat stages. So we are gearing up towards a mass sprint here in this stage. No real reason for us to be part of the breakaway, except maybe to steal some bonus seconds, but I think the focus here for us will be on this mass sprint, and with 7 kilometers to go, our lead out train is driving towards that finish line. We are all the way up front here in this stage, trying to move forward more and more, trying to stick our team here up front with our lead out riders right now, trying to make sure that with 5 kilometers to go, we get a good position here for this last little section. You see it goes downhill a little bit, and we want to enter that downhill section especially as first, because that will be the most difficult area to pass other riders, especially if we are a little bit further back into the peloton. So that is not what we want. 2.5 kilometers to go. You see me sprinting here just before this little corner, because I know that there will be a little bit of gain of energy here. Trying to lead out now our French and Finnish rider. Now we are a little bit behind the other riders, but Severy Savkovsky engaging his super boosters, passing everyone here towards the finish line. He gets across the line here as first. An incredible result here by our Finnish rider. What an amazing sprint here for him. Really accelerating there towards the end, passing all these top riders and getting across the line here as first. An incredible result here, winning the first stage of the Presidential Tour of Turkey. Our Finnish rider, who would have thought that? Incredible here, with even with minus statistics, showing up the other sprinters here in today's race. What a fantastic result here for him. Really, really well done by Severy Savkovsky. So first place, obviously, by him. Then we have Adrian Vial here in 5th as well. Great job by our Finnish rider who led out of the Finnish one. The American rider Owen Cole here in 14th as well. So pretty good positioning here for us. No real bonus seconds for him, so he will probably be in a 14th position or around the 14th position as well in the general classification. The rest of our riders obviously finishing a little bit behind, but everyone at the same time here. So those bonus seconds will move the riders up that have gotten those, and that means that we will end up, let's very quickly see here. That means we obviously will be the lead here in the general classification. 6th place for us. Yeah, sorry, 14th place here for Owen Cole. Pretty good job here by our riders. Let's see if we can do the same here in the second stage. It should be one for the punchers. Maybe Owen Cole can start making his difference in this second stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. The race will take place in beautiful weather conditions.
Welcome to the second stage of the Presidential Tour of Turkey. Owen Cole with incredible statistics today. He will be the rider that will make the difference, I am hoping, for our team. Severy Savkovsky looking a little bit better, while Adrian Vial is looking much, much worse. And I think this will end up in a bit of an uphill sprint here. We just have to survive that little, or the bit of a mountain area towards the end. But I think it shouldn't be too difficult here for our riders. hoping that they will do well here in this second stage of the Tour of Turkey. And do a final sprint here with Owen Cole, who's looking incredibly strong here today. And let's go towards the end of this race. You see our entire team is exhausted, and this is where my frustration comes in, because how the hell is my entire team exhausted and no one else is? We are still in a peloton with 157 riders, 7 kilometers from the finish. We pushed real hard on that mountainous terrain there just before the end here, around 70% into the race. We pushed super hard with our team to try and catch the breakaway that was ahead. We tried to break apart the peloton even more, tried to break apart other riders, but no one really fell off except for our own riders here in this tour. So the entire peloton is basically still together in this race. 150 riders now slowly but surely breaking apart, but it's already towards the end of this race, and Owen Cole will now need to lead himself out in this race. 1 kilometer to go. It will be an uphill finish here in this stage, hoping that this will fit him. His statistics today are incredible, and he's looking super strong, except 200 meters before the finish line he runs out of energy, and these other riders very easily get across the finish line before our American rider. 134 riders in the main peloton at the end of this stage, while our entire team is exhausted. I have no idea how this happened. I have no idea how they held on. I am very frustrated with this second stage here in the Tour of Turkey. You see here Owen Cole ending up in 13th place in the second stage here. And you see me checking out these other riders in disbelief. How did they make it across those hills if they are flat riders? How did they end up before Owen Cole here? Sure, if you are Attila Valtteri or Valtteri Attila or Sean Quinn or like many of these other top riders that have incredible mountain prowess, sure, I understand how you end up in that position. I understand our team not being as good. You see us now going down 150 places with the team, 5 minutes behind, some 12 minutes behind the peloton. We're in such a terrible position, all the way at the bottom as well of the team classification. I have no idea how they make it. And again, if you have fantastic mountain stats, sure, I understand that you survived it, but 150 riders towards the end of that stage, I am uncertain how. Now let's see if we can make up some of that time here in the third stage. Cobbles and flat sections. It will be a mass sprint once again.
It's a difficult race with several cobbled sections. The bikes will be severely tested. It's a beautiful day today. That should be to the liking of most riders.
Beautiful day, and again Owen Cole here with the statistics. +3 for him. The remainder of our riders not looking as strong, sadly, so we'll have a lot of issues here in this race. I am certain we'll just stick in the peloton, try and survive here with our riders. Once again, it will be flat here in the finish of this race, so I'm assuming it will be a mass sprint here. That means that we need to survive the hills here with Severi Savkovski, Adrien Fayal, and Owen Cole. So we'll sit here in the peloton, maybe push a little bit on that final hill, but I'm not going to exhaust my riders, unlike last time where we basically killed our riders to get towards the front. And now we are 14 kilometers away from that finish line. We are pushing once again up this hill, trying to make it difficult for these other riders. You see some riders are having that difficulty, but we're still with a peloton of 160 riders. I have no idea how these riders are managing to stick on to the wheel of this peloton for so long in this very, very difficult race here, while we are pushing on very quickly up this hill, trying to move forward, trying to make it difficult for everyone here in the peloton. 160 riders remaining out now. It's slowly but surely decreasing here in this very difficult race once again. A 2-point pro race where I didn't expect too many difficulties actually, but you see how poorly we are doing, how much we are struggling here in this race. We are trying to stick it out up front here. A big group is already riding away here just in front of us, so we need to do a lot of effort to try and catch up and try and bring our riders all the way towards the front of this race. The peloton splintering a little bit more riders in difficulty while we try and push forward even harder. 5 kilometers remaining. We are now up in front of the peloton in a perfect position. Owen Cole kind of losing the wheel here of Severi Savkovski. That is not what we want. We need him up front here. We need him following our riders. Less than 3 kilometers remaining. I am pushing on very hard here in this race. We will sprint near the 1 kilometer mark. try and sprint with Severy Savkovsky, wait until the last moment here, and here's a cobble section 600 meters from the finish line. It drains all the energy of Owen Cole, and that means that it loses also all his momentum. You see none of the other riders splitting here in the peloton, so if we get across the finish line here as 6th, which is our best position here, the peloton maybe slightly splitting there in the end, 12 seconds towards the main group here. But again, not too difficult apparently for most of these riders with their statistics. I am not completely sure, because our team is absolutely exhausted here at the end of this race. A 6th place here for Owen Cole. You see Adrian Vial also ending up in around the 30th position. Hong Ji-won 1 minute and 40 behind here. I have no idea how they've made it. You see Jelle Hendriksen, who got like a top 30 in the previous stage, now all the way towards the bottom. I have no idea how these riders are doing, how these riders are getting these results. Here now with Owen Cole moving up 1 position, 13 seconds behind the number 1. The remainder of our team also thankfully moving up a couple of positions. We're not all the way at the back anymore, but this is not really the general classification that I was hoping for at the start of the presidential tour of Turkey. We really wanted to show how strong we are. We really want to get more of those bonus points, of those UCI points here in this stage, and we are now also last in the team classification, 14 minutes behind the top team. Alright, onto the 4th stage. Once again, a very flat stage. I think it will be a mass sprint. Let's see if we can finally win another stage.
Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The race will take place in beautiful weather conditions.
Owen Cole still very strong here in these beautiful weather conditions. Again, there's only 1 in between sprint point with some bonus seconds, so I don't think that will be too much worth for us here to try and get those bonus seconds. It's much better to just stick here in the peloton, try and survive, make sure that we end up in a good position towards that final sprint here, which once again, I'm certain it will be a final sprint. I don't think the mountains in between will be too difficult here for our riders. We just need to survive towards that final flat section and do as good of a sprint as possible, hopefully delivering Owen Cole and Severy Savkovsky here towards that finish line. Hopefully they can get a podium place, or maybe even winning another stage here in the presidential tour of Turkey. That is our goal. We want those UCI points. We want to get those victories because of that. So we want to do our best here in this race. Now on to the last 10 kilometers of this race. You see there's a little bit of an uphill section. Most of our riders still with a pretty good energy, to be honest. We are doing rather well here in this race, so it's promising, or a good result here for us. It's looking very well. That just means we wanted to end up in first when we get down on this hill, and you see that downhill section approaching right now. We're in very good position here in front of the peloton. Some attacks seem to be happening here, but the pace is so high, and I'm certain that those attacks will fill. But I'm happy for them to try it. I'm happy for them to let them exhaust their energy while we push on as well. Less than 3 kilometers remaining here, or less than 4 kilometers remaining, my apologies, and we still have so many riders remaining. That means we can push really hard here with the team. That we can push really hard here with our riders. You see me sprinting again very early here with Asian Verity, making sure that our riders try to move up here very much, trying to sprint now with everyone that we have, but our riders do get blocked here in this race. Severy Savkovsky looked really strong here, but his energy basically used on trying to pass riders here in this stage. Can we at least get a top 3 here? It's looking very good here for our finish rider, and yes, there we go, a top 3 here for our finish rider, Severy Savkovsky in 3rd here in this race. A great result here once again for our finish rider. No victory, sadly, but I think a top 3 is pretty good. We got boxed in there on the right side. It was very difficult for us to really move on from that boxed position, so I'm happy that Severy still managed to get towards a top 3. 6th place here for Owen Cole, and 8th here for Adrian Vial. So a very strong performance here from the team, making sure that we get a good position here at the finish line, but not really the victory that I was hoping for. Still a top position here for our finish rider. Owen Cole, thanks to that top position, moving up a couple of positions. 2 additional positions here for him. Currently in 6th, still 13 seconds off the number 1. We really really need those bonus seconds here, unless, and that mountain stage will come soon. 2 stages left for that mountain section where hopefully Owen Cole will perform and beat that rider and gain enough seconds to get into first in the general classification. The remainder of our riders either staying in position or moving up a couple of positions, so that's looking pretty good. We're slowly but surely getting closer, getting more and more away from that bottom position in the team classification. Still 13 minutes behind the #1 team, so still not looking super great here for us here in these stages. Again, not getting really the results that we wanted. You see many of the other riders here also looking pretty good in this stage. A lot of the Dutch riders here actually looking very, very strong in this stage, which is surprising to me, as we had some uphill sections, we have some sprints here, and I don't think those are generally their forte, but you know, happy for them that they're doing well here. Sean Quinn with those, or Sean Quinn with his incredible mountain prowess, also very low in the general classification. Would have hoped for him to do a little bit better there. On to the 5th stage, again a very flat stage, which should end up in a mass sprint.
Hello and welcome. The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. The race will take place in beautiful sunny conditions.
Owen Cole loves these sunny conditions. Once again, a +3 in the statistics here for him, which will be very, very good to have. It is a bit mountainous there towards the end, but I don't think it will bother our riders too much. However, I'm sending out Owen Cole this one time just to try and get some bonus seconds here in this race, hopefully moving him up a couple of positions thanks to those bonus seconds. Really pushing on here, but you see he does a large attack here, but only ends up 10 seconds in front of the peloton. That means the peloton will for sure be chasing after him. Don't want to let him go. The #6 here in the general classification, he is too dangerous to be let go, too dangerous for others, for him to get those bonus seconds, so they don't want to make him be in that breakaway, and he gets caught very, very quickly. That means that we have no one in the breakaway once again in this stage, and we end up 11 kilometers here from the finish line, pushing on here now to try and get a good result. Once again, you see 2 little hills there just before the finish line where we want to push on and make sure we enter that downhill section as first, so we can sprint and do a big attack and try to get towards that finish line in front of the peloton. First little hill now done in that downhill section, trying to just survive here as long as possible with our riders. Don't want to exhaust them too quickly, don't want to make them too tired. I want to keep them for this second hill here, where I will push on really, really hard here with all of our riders trying to make it towards the top of this hill. Still 6 kilometers remaining, so it's not too far out here for the finish line. You see me pushing real hard here on these sprinters. They will not appreciate it, they will not like it, but they will need to survive it. The top of this hill is already there, so we are looking very, very strong here, entering that downhill section as first as we have planned. Bit of a corner section here, which is never great for us, especially if we want to maintain our position. Couple more corners here, which I'm trying to sprint very, very early in, because I know that these corners are generally the reason we want to be in first. And with less than a kilometer to go, we once again try and sprint here for this top position. Owen Cole looking really, really strong, but Severi Sabakovsky, another 3rd position here for him. Another podium here for our Finnish rider. Once again looking very, very strong in this race. Was hoping for a little bit better here. We were positioned very, very strongly in this race, so I was hoping that he would do a little bit better here. But Severi Sabakovsky in 3rd position. That means that he gets a couple of bonus seconds, which is good for him, but I don't think it will move him up too much in the general classification. Owen Cole ending up in 6th. No additional upwards movement for him there. Stays in 6th position as well in the general classification. Trying to find Severi Sabakovsky now, who's moving up 5 positions here. Currently, still plenty of minutes behind the #1 here. The rest of the riders also moving up a couple of positions, which is great. Again, hoping that we can improve on that team classification at least here, as we are still 13 minutes and 45 seconds behind. So not really doing anything there, not really moving up in any way, shape, or form, sadly. At least Owen Cole is first in the Young Riders classification, so that is something here in this race, in this very tricky presidential tour, cycling tour of Turkey. Now let's move on to that 6th stage, this very mountainous stage. This is where the difference in the general classification will be made. Let's hope Owen Cole can move up to first.
And welcome. Today it will be the climbers who have any chance of victory. The race will take place in beautiful sunny conditions.
Again, sunny conditions means that Owen Cole is performing very, very well, and you see me here trying to send him out once again into the breakaway. I should probably save the energy for the last mountain area, but I see those bonus seconds relatively early on in this stage, so I want to try and get those bonus seconds, hoping that they will help out here in this mountainous terrain here towards the end, even though we might get a little bit behind other riders, hoping that those 3 little bonus seconds will be good for us here. But again, the peloton is chasing after Owen Cole very, very much. 13 seconds behind the number 1 in 6th position. They do not want to make him get those bonus seconds, so we try and stick in the wheel here, try to make sure that we survive, not to lose too much energy as the peloton chases after Owen Cole and catches him very, very quickly. Now you head over here to this little mountain area. You see Heo struggling. You see Severi here in the 2nd group. And in the front group, there's only 29 riders remaining here in this very difficult stage. I did not expect the peloton to splinter this much. A lot of our riders in trouble further on towards the back of this race. But Owen Cole is in the main bunch here towards the end of this race in this very long mountain area. 12 kilometers remaining of mountainous terrain. It does flatten out a little bit towards the end, but that means that we need to survive 12 kilometers of mountain first before we even get there. And we just want to stick in the bunch here. We don't want to move up here. We don't want to really attack here. We don't want to take any initiative. There's plenty of top teams here that are doing that for us, that are riding really hard here. Owen Cole is just focused on surviving here in this race. You see me looking at the other riders. Do I recognize any of these names here? Who can we follow here in this very, very difficult tour and in this very difficult stage? Still 10 kilometers remaining here, and I see here Van den Broek, the Dutch rider, who is always very, very strong as well. That is probably the rider that I want to follow. Lopez as well, the Colombian rider, always very strong in this mountainous terrain. So if there are 2 riders that I should follow, it is probably them here up this very difficult mountain area. 8 kilometers left, another 2 kilometers done here. Thankfully, we are trying to just keep our position in this mountain. You see the cooperation is obviously terrible. This is the line that I would expect of a basically Tour de France stage, where you always see these group of riders that are riding in the line up this mountain, and the group with Frank van den Broek and Lopez jumps away there. I think, is Lopez still in our group? I think he is. So the group with Van den Broek, the Dutch rider, jumps away here. We are unable to follow. There's 12 riders basically in total, 6 ahead, 6 in this group, and I'm unable to even follow these other riders here that are jumping away as well. So I'm here now just with the Uruguayan rider, trying to survive here towards the finish line. There are 11 or 10 riders in front of us. That means that the top 10 will be out of our reach as they cycle away further and further. There's still over 4 kilometers remaining here for us. There's no chance for us to get that top result. And Owen Cole here finishes in 12th position. 3 minutes behind the number 1. So it is a very difficult day here for us. We moved down 3 positions because of this in the general classification, all the way to 9th. It surprises me, honestly. I thought we would move down even further. So a top 10 for us here in this presidential cycling tour of Turkey. Severi Savkovski moving up 100 positions. That's probably the most he has ever moved up here in the general classification. Really good job here by Severi in this very difficult terrain. And you see many of the other riders basically moving down in this race. A lot of our riders, however, moving up, except for Kim Yon-sok, losing a lot of time. But a lot of our riders actually moving up here in this stage. So great job here by our team today. Looking very, very strong. Sadly, and I just wish I could have improved my general classification position with Owen Cole. As you see him now also losing the top spot in the Young Riders classification, 3rd in that one. At least we move up in the team classification, 14 positions now. 35 minutes behind the top team here with XDS Astana. Oh, we are so weak in these mountain regions. Let's hope we can at least do a better sprint here in the 7th stage of the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. A very flat ending, so it should be another mass sprint.
It's going to be a monotonous monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
Well, again, we won't be those opportunists, I can tell you that. I tried to jump away with Owen Cole, who's currently in 9th. We are a little bit boxed in here at the start, having issues to get towards that breakaway. A big jump here by our riders, and we do manage to end up in that breakaway group, but I'm sure the peloton will be chasing after us once again. Owen Cole still looking really strong here in this tour, looking very, very powerful, but not really getting the performance that we expect from him. I was hoping for him to do a lot better here in these races. We do manage to make it all the way towards those in-between sprint points. We get across the line here as first, 3 additional bonus seconds here for him, and that means that I am not going to do very much effort other than that. I'm going to wait here on the peloton with our American rider. There's still a big mountain area here just before the finish line where we want to be positioned properly, where we want to have the energy left to do well, and so I'm not going to put much effort here until that area. And you see now 9 kilometers before the finish line, we were doing very well. Hong actually got a puncture in that area, and that's when the peloton basically started sprinting forward, so no chance for him to really catch up. A lot of the other riders actually 1 minute behind the peloton here, while we try and surge forward here towards the front of the peloton, try to make sure that we are positioned very well here for this upcoming sprint that we want to do. I'm going to move Severi a little bit up here in the order, because his -3 is not looking very good here in this race. That means that I think he will not win another stage here today, but maybe Adrien Vial or Owen Cole can do something here in this very tricky stage. Owen Cole looking very, very strong, although he does not have the wheel of Adrien Vial, our French young sprinter, who's doing a really good lead out here for our rider. Owen Cole losing his wheel, however, with 1 kilometer remaining. He's just behind this other rider, the other rider blocking him from sprinting properly, and that means that Owen Cole does not get a good result here in this 7th stage of the Tour of Turkey. A 6th place here for Adrien Vial at least, so that is a top 10 for our team, but not really the result that we wanted, not really the effort that we made for him to try and get a top result. We wanted to get a podium, we wanted to do well here in this final sprint. I was hoping for Owen Cole to do well, but in the end only a top 20 position here for him, while we have Adrien Vial in 6th. Hong Ji-won ending up 3 minutes behind the peloton, so that'll move him down a couple of positions as well. 13th here in the stage classification for Owen Cole. That does nothing for his general classification. There's around 20 seconds behind him and about a minute difference to the rider in front of him. So no real change here for him here, no real movement there in the general classification. Adrien Vial moves up a couple of spaces at least, gains a couple of seconds. The remainder of our riders also moving up a couple of places. So not too bad here for the team classification, even though we don't move in that classification. But again, general classification still in 9th position. Hoping to at least do better here in this 8th stage. Again, we want those bonus seconds, we want that group to split, and it looks like a cobbled section there at the end. So I'm hoping that Owen Cole can pull an upset together with Severi Savkovsky maybe, as he is the favorite of today's race, and win this stage.
Welcome. It's a difficult race with several cobbled sections. The bikes will be severely tested. The weather conditions are excellent.
The weather conditions are determining here for Owen Cole, as again he has a +3 in statistics. He is looking so incredibly strong here in this presidential tour of Turkey, but the general classification result is just not there for him. Only a top 10 so far. It is a bit disappointing. We should be the stronger team, we should be the stronger riders here in this tour, but we are not really showing it. We are so far down in the general classification. So it's not really looking great here for us. 2 or almost 3 minutes behind the number 1 here is Owen Cole, who would try and protect here in the stage in the peloton together with Severi Savkovsky and Adrien Vial, as we are now setting up for that final sprint here towards the end of this race. Again, you see it goes uphill there with cobbles, so it should be a very difficult uphill finish here for our team. I'm hoping that this will fit Owen Cole perfectly, as he still has a lot of energy remaining as well. He's looking really, really strong today. Just need to do a proper lead out. Just need for him to not lose the wheel, as Severi is actually losing the wheel at the moment. Not looking super strong here in this race, trying to move forward more and more. You see our sprint train kind of being broken up here in this race, not looking really good here, not giving it all as we head into that last kilometer mark, trying to sprint with everyone that we have. This is the difficult cobbled section. It maybe sprinted a little bit too early here, as we already are out of energy here on these cobbles, having such a difficult time. No victory once again here for us. The yellow jersey is also part of this group. The peloton doesn't even split here in this very tricky section. And I think our best finisher here is Adrian Vial in a 9th place. So once again, a very poor result here by the team. Only a 9th place here in this stage. 12th for Owen Cole. Top 15 here for Severi Sabakovsky. The favorites of this race finishing much lower than I thought they would. I was hoping for them to do a lot better here in this stage, but in the end, a poor result here for us. That means they also don't really move up here in the general classification, also not in team classification. A 9th place in the end here in the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. Honestly, a bit of a disappointing result. I was hoping for us to do much, much better here in these stages. You see me checking out these other riders that have won the general classification. This Slovenian rider looking really, really strong here in this tour. I was just hoping that we would do much better, as we do. I feel like we have better statistics than most of these riders. Obviously not Frank van den Broek, but most of these riders. I was hoping to do a little bit better in this tour. Now, after 2 tours with poor results, let's see if we can do better here in the Lotto Famenne Ardennes Classic. Another Belgian Classic, which is incredibly hilly. We don't have any of the favorites, sadly, in our team. But let's see if we can upset the favorites here today.
It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. We've got absolutely beautiful weather for this race.
The weather is beautiful, and so are our statistics. Look at Christophe Kral, Jaewon Jun, Paul Fietske. I'm even happy that Noah Isidore won. I think, honestly, the best rider on our team has a neutral statistics at the moment. I think that will be beneficial for us either way. There is a breakaway already forming here. We do not want to be part of it. Again, a very hilly terrain here, so it's better to just sit in the peloton and try to survive all the way towards the end, where we have many hills to deal with, and maybe we can push on the peloton here at the end as well to break it apart or put ourselves into a favorable position for those final couple of kilometers, which will be hilly and seems to be an uphill sprint. Now on to the last 10 kilometers. You see it has been an exhausting race, this very difficult classic that we're at. 10 kilometers remaining. Riders are attacking. Most of our team is absolutely exhausted. You see here Jaewon Jun and Christophe Kral already done, already no energy left. Other riders are already attacking. There's one more hill here just before the finish line, so I don't want that rider to get away, get across that hill and just have a free ride all the way towards the finish. We need to chase after him. No other riders seem very excited to do this work, so I put Paul Fietske here up front. He is really driving the peloton forward and slowly but surely taking a second off of the breakaway here. 8 seconds remaining here after a big move by Paul Fietske. 4.5 kilometers remaining. I'm hoping for him to regain a little bit of energy here in this downhill section. I don't want to exhaust him too much. I want him to have a little bit of energy remaining here, and 2 kilometers remaining still here for Noah Isidore. Paul Fietske squeezing the energy from his toes. Just before this corner, I decide to sprint. I do make it past this rider in the breakaway. 1 kilometer remaining. Noah Isidore is giving it his all. Have other riders exhausted themselves too much in this little hill just before this finish line? Yes, they have. Noah Isidore wins the Lotto Famenne Ardennes Classic. A great result here by our French rider, who is already in form, who's already scoring victory after victory. This French rider, Noah Isidore, doing incredible once again. Thankfully, making sure that this episode is not as disappointing as I thought it would turn out to be, and winning here in this great Belgium Classic. You see here the remainder of our riders finishing around a 30th position. We are first in the team classification as well, so a really good result here for our team. Obviously, we would like to have more riders within that top 10, but a victory in this episode will definitely take it here after those 2 disappointing races that we had earlier. A victory finally here by Noah Isidore. That means he's now up to 4 victories. We gained 2 additional victories in this episode. Once again, not the best episode here for victories. Severy Savikovsky winning 1 race as well, but getting a bunch of 3rd places. And that victory moves up Noah Isidore in the points ranking. You see another big jump by him. Not much of points for the other riders. You see Owen Cole and Severy jumping up a little bit, but no real switches in statistics here. Owen Cole passing Christoph Kroll, and Noah Isidore just extending his lead in the points classification within the team even further. Paul Fietske getting more and more out of reach out of that first place, hoping that he can do better in the next episode. That was it for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you guys in the next one where we'll ride plenty more races. Until then, see you next time.